everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the What Was That podcast. I'm Jazzy.
And I'm Addi.
Everyone seems to be out and about nowadays, and it's a great opportunity to people watch.
One of my favorite activities is just to walk around somewhere and people watch. You'd be amazed at what I've seen.
But what about the things you haven't seen? We know that even out in a public space, people can do the most heinous things, and they really have you wondering, what is wrong with you? Story one. Story one. I was too sleepy to care. Me right now. What's wrong with you? I don't know. I don't care.
I want to take a nap. Me all the time. I don't really care what's going on. I just want to take a nap.
I do not have the stamina for this. This takes place in Germany in 2014. After 2 years of stagnation, I decided to do something with my life. Despite my parents' opinion, I moved out. I decided to continue my education, but in order to do so without help, I had to start 2 jobs. That's how I ended up in the basement with my roommate, Ryan. An alias, cool. The whole house belonged to his parents and had 2 floors plus a basement. The second floor was occupied by an older couple, the first by a woman who I saw during the day, who I saw twice during my whole stay. The ground floor was empty. Honestly, living there was awful. Even without the older couple fighting, our ceiling was constantly leaking and the windows were in a place where people could access them from the street. They would often stare at what we were doing. We had drunk people peeing on our windows or kids trying to take something off our windowsill to get in. Summer was a nightmare. But after 2 or 3 months, I was so tired I stopped caring. You want to watch me undress in my own room? Fine. Another colony of spiders in our bathroom? Well, I guess my arachnophobia is cured. Time for a bath? Ryan taking my stuff without asking? Who cares? 2 years later, it's 2014. It's August and I'm sleep deprived, but I finally have a week off. No studies, no work, no responsibilities, just some good rest. So I lie in bed and sleep all day. But around 4 p.m., I start hearing sounds. Lots of shuffling, slamming doors, and quick footsteps. Before I fully awake, the door to my room opened. Someone grabbed me and started shaking me, saying, "Get up." Okay, I opened my eyes. My first and only thought, Ryan. This man looked nothing like him. Ryan had long black hair and was very thin, and always wore a green hoodie. This man was much taller, more muscular, and bald. But yeah, my brain saw all those differences and still thought, Ryan. I remember saying, "What? Can't you see I'm trying to rest?" And then I turned on my left side. Ryan didn't leave, though. He tugged me again, saying, "Get up." I said, "No way." And then, "I don't care what you did this time. Get out." It was probably a lot less coherent and understandable. Well, Ryan left, and I heard him moving around our house for a while, making noise. Then I fell asleep. 2 hours later, Ryan wakes me up again. He's panicked and basically asks if I'm fine. I'm like, what now? Our kitchen and Ryan's room were destroyed. We lost our laptops, my phone, Ryan's games, manga, some food from the fridge, and for some reason, my notebooks and a cheap, small Bulbasaur figure I kept on my night table.
Okay.
Rude. After this, the police quickly arrived. Thanks to the neighbors and their camera, we had footage of the tall, bald man entering our property after 3 p.m., spending a while hanging around the front, and then going back. The police were not happy to hear my part of the story. They looked at me as if they were wondering how I managed to survive so many years. Ryan's parents were even less impressed. They spent days complaining about me and making up a story about how I should have fought to protect the house. My parents tried again to convince me to move back. Then, after 3 weeks, the situation only became more irritating. I packed my bags and actually did. After that, I had a few conversations with the police, but as far as I know, the burglar was never found. This is so funny.
That is, I mean, it's funny and it's not funny because it's super sad that they got robbed and their privacy was completely destroyed. However,
I can't imagine being that tired.
I'm just so eepy.
Yeah, I'm just an eepy little guy. I'm like, my roommate comes in. I already don't like my roommate. I'm like, just let me fucking sleep, my guy. And this guy, the robber probably came in and was like, damn, okay, what the fuck?
Like, this is weird.
Honestly, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel like this might have saved OP's life or
Right.
helped them a lot. Because who knows what the robber was trying to do to get them like up and around, you know? They could have taken them into the living room and been like, hey, you've seen me now, like you're dead.
Right, you saw my face.
Yeah.
So now we have a problem. Instead, they're like, okay, is this person like on something?
Exactly.
Like,
They probably were like, oh, they're not gonna remember me. So
yeah, it's like, my name's not Ryan, but sure.
yeah, exactly. You know what? Go back to sleep, princess.
Tucks them in.
Yeah, read them a bedtime story. Warm glass of milk and some
Yeah.
cookies next to their bed.
It's on the sound machine. Like, you're gonna hear some. Don't worry about that. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
In place of the Bulbasaur statue, it's
And
just
they,
a
like,
glass of
leave
milk.
And they're just like, oh, cute.
Yeah,
So
one
rude.
thing for the road. Yeah, the notebooks too, super rude.
Yeah. What do you think is in there?
They did it to spite them, I'm sure.
Mhm.
They were like, haha, go to school now, bitch.
Yeah. I wonder, because like some people will keep passwords and stuff in notebooks. So I wonder if that's what they were thinking.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Have you ever been this tired? Yes. I go through periods where I just don't sleep.
Yeah.
So when I do, I'm like dead to the world.
Mhm.
And there was one night in my apartment that I heard some sort of alarm blaring. And I was like, that's not for me. That's not my problem. And I go back to sleep for another 2 or 3 minutes. And it's still going off. I wake up. I'm like, oh, that's a fire alarm. I need to leave. I was willing to burn to death because I was just so EB that I could not be disturbed.
Those people on the Titanic.
Yeah. Like, drowning.
I'm sleeping. That's a nice way to go.
I'm gonna take my trip to Slumberland, and this is not gonna be my problem at
Yeah.
all.
I don't think I've ever like normally been this sleepy on my own. Like I've been sleep deprived, but normally I can power through it to some extent. I mean, obviously, if I'm doing something, I'll probably like make mistakes, but I don't think I've ever been so sleep deprived that somebody's like coming to wake me up and I mistook the robber for my roommate. But me on sleep medication, absolutely.
Gotcha.
This absolutely could happen. I am so sensitive to sleep medicine that it's like, it is like I am on a strong dose of hallucinogenics when I take sleep medicine. Yeah.
Are you also sensitive to anesthesia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I always, every time I go in for surgery, I'm like, there is no point in me even trying to count back. The second that they put that little mask on my face, I'm done.
Yeah.
Done. And then for days after that, I feel like shit because I'm still coming off of it. But yeah, I don't take sleep aids at all. My doctor tried to prescribe me some before because I get really, really bad nightmares to the point where I don't sleep at night because I'm afraid to.
Yeah.
So she's tried to prescribe me stuff before to try to help me sleep and like stay asleep so I don't have nightmares. And I can't take them because it makes me so weird feeling.
Yeah.
And the next, like for the entire next day, my day's ruined because I'm like audio hallucinating. I'm making like a ton of mistakes. My emotions are like up and down.
Yeah.
I just can't.
It's not
No.
worth it. That's, yeah.
Yeah, my mom gave me an Ambien one time to help me sleep, and I thought that I was dying. Like, truly, I thought the blinds were moving, like, waving.
Yeah.
I threw up in a sink.
Okay.
I cried hysterically for probably like an hour, and then I went to sleep.
Was it good sleep?
No.
Oh, no. See,
no.
all that, and it wasn't even what to sleep.
Yeah. I woke up in the morning, and I was like, it felt like I had drank all night and then woke up.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
There's once I fell asleep walking.
how do you fall asleep walking?
Well, because I wasn't sleeping. And it was I was studying for finals. So I decided to have a social life and to study and to not sleep. So I was just like filling my system with caffeine and Jamba Juice. And I like had gotten to the point where I'd run out of caffeine, and I was like, okay, I need to go to my dorm. I need to lay down for a little bit. And as I'm walking, I don't remember it, but I was like into a bush, and I was like, ooh, no one saw that, right?
Somebody's like, oh yeah, she's drunk. Don't worry about it. It's college.
Yeah.
College, baby.
Like, let's go.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So tired.
It's really, really sad. I've seen a lot of stuff lately about people speculating, and who knows, this could be true, but keeping people tired so that way they're constantly, you know, in this headspace where they're making mistakes and they're not really caring as much and things are slipping by them.
Yeah.
So, like, forcing people, like, making people work 4 jobs to provide for their family,
Right.
and making people work 3 jobs while going to school just so they can get a degree, just so they can get a decent paying job, which
Right.
might not even happen at this day and age.
Mhm.
Like, I've seen a lot of people talking about that. Like, you have to keep them tired and keep them
Oh, I fully believe that.
sedated
If you're
Yeah.
tired, you don't have the energy
to fight back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You're like,
here we are.
damn, that sucks. And then it drains even more out of you because you have no energy to fight anything.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Yeah.
think that we're all kind of like in that hemisphere right now.
Yeah.
Everyone is kind of,
Soul is sucked out of everyone.
yeah. And that's why everyone's ideal life is to work and live off the land.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, that's people, the American dream used to be like having a comfortable job and a house with a white picket fence and a dog and a family.
Yeah.
And now everyone's dream is to live in a remote piece of land with a bunch of cows and chickens and a
Mhm.
garden.
Yeah, completely off the grid. I saw someone saying that our like great grandparents and like whoever came to the States, like their dream was to like, yeah, get to the States and like really fight for the American dream. And now we're fighting to go back to what they were doing. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I would love to have a little goat farm in Sicily. That sounds like a dream.
Yeah. Just something that doesn't like make me feel like I have no purpose in life.
Yeah. Mhm.
So
Yeah. So I'm like, really, what's the point of what we do? There's people died.
story 2. My aunt dated a murderer. First, let's set up some background to make the flow of the story smoother. This happened almost 19 years ago. I was nearly 13 years old and I was being raised by my grandparents. We lived in a little tourist town in Florida. They had their problems with 2 daughters as adults, my mother being the older of the 2, and they wanted to do everything that they could to make sure that I didn't turn out the same way. A do-over, if you will. So needless to say, they were very strict. My aunt was having a good period. She had her stuff together. We were all very close. My aunt understood what it was like to be raised under a glass dome, metaphorically speaking. They raised her too, after all. So, being as she was my only aunt, she made sure that the time that we spent together was always super cool. I would stay over Saturday nights. We would go out and hang out at the pier, and she would let me hang out with my middle school boyfriend, who would find ways to go wherever I was. My grandparents had no idea of any of these activities, of course. I was just spending some quality time with my aunt and giving them a break. It was nice that I had a younger female figure since my mom wasn't around. One night, when we were out having fun, my aunt meets this guy and they really hit it off. He was very nice and introduced himself to me. He went by JR, and at first, he was a kind and charming talker. They exchanged numbers after hanging out a while, and then we went home and went to bed. They ended up going out a bit more, and my aunt really liked JR. He took her to his home and introduced her to his father and showed her around his land. He lived out in the woods in the middle of nowhere. I had lived in this town for 30 years, and I still to this day couldn't tell you where it is. I was only there once. He was teaching my aunt how to shoot a gun. I remember her shoulder rocking back with the impact of the shot and it surprising her. He had these weird flamenco dancing clothes in his closet.
Okay. What is that? I wonder if that's going to circle around.
Okay, I feel like that's a
He's
really
like,
weird
gonna,
like transition.
Like dance while he's murdering her.
Yeah, her like shoulder shoot back in surprise, and he's like, yeah. It was all seemingly harmless. I mean, everyone has their quirks. About 10 days, maybe 2 weeks later, we were Again at the pier, out by the payphones, talking about what to do that night and what to get for dinner. JR and my aunt were in their late 20s, early 30s, and as much as she loved me, I imagine there were times that I got in the way. Well, anyway, we were at the pier and he is talking about how he has these painkillers. He offered me one. I declined, of course, and told him I had a high school tolerance. I had a high tolerance to pain anyway and didn't really need that stuff. He then, with a huge smile, asked me if he can see for himself, assuring me he really won't hurt me. He was just trying to have fun. This bastard twists my arm behind my back until I hear a pop. I start to cry and he laughs and says, "Aw, sweetheart, I was only playing. You said you had a high pain tolerance. I guess I was stronger than I thought. I'm sorry, no need to ruin the good time that we're all having." I go into the private pier office, which my granddad managed, crying. My aunt comes in and lets me know that she thinks it's fucked up and she will talk to him about it. She goes back outside and he asks her what she's up to that night. She tells him that she isn't sure if I'm staying over because of what just happened. I was whining about it when we got home. I was pissed that she hadn't decked him right then and there for hurting me. Well, he tells her that she should meet him under, let's call it the Sunset Bridge, at 2 a.m. on the other side of town. He says that the stars are beautiful and you can listen and hear the fish. He tells her he would love to see it with her and they can dance under the moon. The flamingo.
Mm-hmm.
We were all from a fishing family and live in a fishing town, so fish activities under the bridge at late times wasn't necessarily something that threw up a red flag. If it's dark and late, there won't be all these people hogging all of the fish. She tells him maybe, and we leave. I decide to spend the night after all, later sneaking in only if she will pick up my boyfriend Charlie, playing up on the guilt points. She calls him when she gets home before we made our arrangement about Charlie and says that she can come, but she'll have me with her. He groans and is like, "Fine, all right, I guess she can come too. Maybe she'll get tired and can sleep in the car." About an hour after she called JR the first time, I asked her about Charlie and she agrees. She sits down with me and hugs me and touches my face, lovingly apologizing for what happened with my arm. My aunt was an amazing woman and I love her very much. She then calls him again and tells him not to worry. She's picking up Charlie so I will have my own entertainment and they can have their time. He goes into a rage and starts sputtering and cussing about how it's too complicated now and he just wanted an intimate meeting with her and not a damn family reunion. He went on about how he didn't want to have to babysit a 13-year-old and her 14-year-old boyfriend. He hangs up on her after calling her a crazy bitch. She hangs up the phone and tells me what happened. We go on our night with pizza rolls and PlayStation and things are fine. He calls her a few more times and drives by the house for a couple of weeks, but my aunt was having none of it. After a while, he left our lives just as swiftly as he had came. The whole affair lasted only a month, if even that. 3 weeks maybe at all in all, and it wasn't the crazy experience she had with the man. JR was soon forgotten about and we went about our business. Flash forward 2 years later, I was almost out of middle school. My aunt had moved to a city about 40 miles away. I still lived with my grandparents. They were still strict, but as they had gotten older, so had I.
That's how that works.
Okay. I knew a few ways around the rules. One day, my friend Frank and I had missed the bus home from school and called our high school friend Darla to pick us up and take us home after riding a bit. She had this big, beautiful red truck, and I would ride around in the cab of it, loving the freedom and the wind. We were smoking cigarettes and laughing, listening to the radio. The time I would have spent on the bus before my stop was just enough time to hit up the taco drive-thru. We cruised down the road a bit before heading back to Frank and I's separate houses. He lived just down the road. We had a lot of fun that day. She dropped me off first. My grandparents came outside. They were heavily confused at the sight of an unknown vehicle, and even more so when they saw me get out of it. After letting her be the one to explain because she was older, cooler, and more responsible, my parents thanked her for being kind enough to take me home. They said how lucky I was that she just happened to be there and helped me get home. The things we do to our parents, huh? That was the last time we ever saw my friend. She didn't show up for work for 5 days. I can't speak for everyone, but I assume she had just ran away. Darla's parents were going through a nasty divorce. The dad had a hot new girlfriend, and the mother was very bitter about it. Rightfully so, I guess. It was embarrassing for all the kids. Her truck wasn't left behind. I figured she got tired of her parents acting like infants and took off. I missed her, but She was in a whole other league of freedom and coolness. 16 is a whole different life than 14, especially when you're in 2 different schools. I wished her well, maybe even a little envious that she got out of this town and I was still here. I hadn't heard about her for about 2 weeks when about 9 p.m. one night, my grandparents got a call to turn on the news. Darla's body was found in the woods. She was strangled to death and left out there. I don't even know for how long. I was devastated. I was so joyful that I had that last experience with her, but so saddened and horrified. She was so young, barely older than myself. She was about to be 17 in just a short time. It was a very sad time for our town. The good and bad news is that they caught the guy who had done it. He confessed after some very incriminating evidence, and during this questioning, also confessed to killing his girlfriend, who had been missing for about 8 years, and also his father, staging his death to look self-inflicted by hanging. When they showed his mugshot on the screen and his name, I swear I almost passed out. Staring back at me was a picture of JR. I had no idea they even knew each other. I can't imagine what would have happened if we had gone under that bridge that night. Investigation Discovery Channel did a piece on it a couple years back. I was shocked to see it on the TV. The memories came rushing back and I decided to write them all down. I literally have a newfound appreciation of life now that I'm old enough to understand just how close I could have come to being killed. My aunt lived on to make some new awesome memories with me. I have a beautiful life with my husband and 3 boys that most likely would have never happened if things had gone differently that night.
That is terrifying.
That's crazy. That's
my
crazy. I've actually seen quite a few stories of people who like meet up with somebody and then later on realize that it's a serial killer. Like there was a story I heard at some point in the last like year or two where somebody's like mom went on a date with Jeffrey Dahmer or something.
Yeah. There's
Or not Jeffrey Dahmer,
was it
Ted Bundy.
Yeah. There was a reporter that I worked with who did a story on someone who escaped from Ted Bundy.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was like out on a hiking trail and he was like, you know, oh, like, I'm having a hard time. Can you help me to my car? He seems like a nice guy. He's got a little like beetle, like,
Mm-hmm.
and just like something in her was like, this is weird. Get out of this scenario.
Yeah.
I can't imagine going through all of this. Okay, thanks, Mom. I can't imagine going through all of that where you have someone that you look up to and a friend, and the person who did that to them is someone that you are familiar enough with.
Yeah, somebody
know?
that you like literally cross path with for like an extended period of time. It was 3 weeks of time that you spent with this person. You met their dad.
Right.
Like there's all these different things that connected you, and then your friend
Yeah.
is the
I don't know if
unfortunate.
this is morbid, but I'm wondering the timeline of this.
It was a year
'Cause-
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people, when serial killers, they'll like escalate and escalate.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
escalate. And sometimes when they're escalating, the time span in between
Get
their
shorter
victim
and
gets
shorter.
shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
Because the aunt met his dad.
Yeah.
So somewhere within that year span,
Yeah.
all of this happened, which is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. And he killed his girlfriend 9 or 8 years before that too. So it's like even when they were together, he had already done something.
Right.
And so you're already like hanging out with a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
And
This is why I don't date outdoorsy men. When they're like, oh yeah, just like come out in the middle of the night.
yeah.
I'm like apprehensive about like just dating in general and people
Yeah.
and meeting strangers. So to have a man, like when guys are like, let's go on a hike, I'm like, absolutely not. We
Yeah,
can go
not
to
for the
a
first date.
very public place.
Yeah.
Even like a few dates in.
No, it would have to be like a month or so. Like I need to
Yeah.
like kind of trust you. And even then I'm sending my location to everyone that I know.
Yeah, all of my girls have my location. But like the first time I was seeing his roommate, I found out I like stayed the night at their house just like one time, but his roommate is like a blood spatter crime scene analyst. And I'm like, oh, Dexter? You live with Dexter? And I was like sitting there just like trying to go to sleep. And I was like, I made it so easy for myself to be murdered right now. I'm in a house with 2 men. One works on crime scenes.
Yeah.
They're nice. It's fine.
Yeah. I would have loved to ask him some
Mhm.
questions. What a job to have. Like, you can look at a blood splatter and be like, I think that they were hit in the back of the head with this like amount of force from this type of object, and they were standing in this direction, and that's why it came there. Like,
Wild.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's geometry and physics. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not near smart enough in those categories to ever have done that job. But
Same.
I'm glad someone does it. So
I want
can
you to
bring
clip
people justice.
what just happened just now, too, because we both fixed our hair and our eyes and said the same thing at the same time.
One brain.
But yeah, that's crazy. That would be a hard thing to live with for a long time. I'm really glad that
Yeah.
the aunt, like, nothing happened to the aunt.
Right.
And that
Right.
really was like fate playing out right there for the daughter to be like, can my boyfriend come over?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, and then I always have this thing with like dating people, with anyone really. It's easy to hide who you are in the beginning,
yeah.
but then it becomes harder and harder. So I think the scenario of him popping her arm, that's kind of more natural for what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And like the charming, witty man that they met initially, that's not actually his personality. That's what he puts on to get close to people.
Yeah.
So luckily the aunt was like not dealing with his shit. But if she did continue, I'm sure they would start to see the
More
cracks.
signs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how the flamenco clothes were never like.
Yeah. I was like ready for like the flamenco murderer of Massachusetts. or
Yeah,
something.
right. Like that's how he dances with his victims in his little outfit, and that's how like he gets them. Like
Yeah.
he peacocks.
Mm-hmm. How I would be absolutely horrified if someone's coming up to murder me and they're like dancing at me too, because
Yeah.
that's insane.
I'm picturing Jim Carrey's The Mask, like in that scene where
Yeah.
he's dancing with the flamenco outfit on. That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
So imagine that. You're going up to a pier or a like bridge at night, and you're like, let's dance under the moonlight.
And then boom, you're dead.
And then
That's
you're dead,
terrifying.
yeah.
No one like who would believe that? Like a
You dance
flamenco
to death.
dancer.
That's how he kills them. He dance. He's actually a fae.
Oh.
You ever think about that?
Yeah.
He dances
Is there a
people to
story
death.
about that already?
Yeah, there's like that's lore. There's like a party or something where it's like all the fae people can dance for a long time,
Yeah.
and it's also I think in a book, and I think it's in a smart book.
Yeah.
But we brought it up. But where like the like fae are, their endurance is so much higher, so they can dance for hours and hours and hours. But
Yeah.
like once humans start dancing, they can't stop dancing,
Yeah.
so they die.
This is interesting because there's this thing that I heard. I don't remember where I heard it. If it was like Discovery Channel or something, I heard it as a kid, where there was this plague that happened and people were dancing until they died.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to find it now, and I don't find anything super solid on it.
Yeah.
They're like talking about other plagues where people are, I think it was laughing until they died. And I was like, no, I remember it specifically being people danced
Dancing.
until they died.
Yeah.
And they're like, feet were bloody.
Dancing
till we die. I bet.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, this is evidence for Faye.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's also the story of in that tower towards downtown, in the like circular one. Apparently, in the ballroom, in the bottom of it, there's like it's apparently haunted because the devil like danced with a girl all night until she died,
Oh.
and people like saw it in the daybreaks of morning that he had like hooves as feet and stuff, and then like realized it was the devil.
Well, maybe I don't want to go out dancing.
Was in that specific building, and that I don't think that they have like dancing there anymore. It's
That
apartments.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Stuff like they foot loose the hell out of that building.
Yeah.
Like we are not dancing.
Yeah.
Someone starts to play music. Hey, cut that shit off.
Honestly, they should capitalize on that.
Yeah. Well, if it's apartment buildings now, I'll like put on a fun little tune and like we.
I think it'd
You
be
know?
so fun to live in a building and like in the bottom they throw parties every now and then.
Like a little speakeasy vibe.
yeah, where they
Yeah.
they have a DJ come out and you all go down and dance. Like what a good way to build a community.
You have not watched Only Murders in the Building.
No.
Okay. I'm gonna spoil something. There's a season where in the building there's like an underground club thing. And it looks so freaking sweet. And I imagine that's what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
And it would be like old timey glamour. And like you go in, there's like, you can gamble a little bit, you can dance, there's like music,
Yeah.
get a glass of whiskey, and then wander home. That sounds so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
That's what I
should
want.
make a building where only us live in it. And we have
An entire apartment building, but we have a
Yeah.
speakeasy at the bottom.
yeah, people can come to our speakeasy, but actually I don't want to interact with people other than that.
I'm done.
Cool. Story 3. Okay, I think enough time has passed since I quit my old job to talk about this. My coworker was a deranged stalker. At my old job, 2 of my coworkers and I had to go on a work trip. One of them was a man and the other was a Muslim woman who wore a hijab. I know, why is it relevant? Just bear with me. Everything went well at first. We did what we were there to do. The first night, I was really tired, so when my coworkers invited me to go to dinner, I turned them down and went back to my hotel room. The next day, my male coworker was kind of acting quiet and insisted I sit in the front of the car instead of the back. Weird, but I don't think too much of it. After our shift, my female coworker invited us to have some drinks in her room. I thought, why not? Just a couple of beers wouldn't hurt. At first, everything was fine. We drank, talked, had fun. Then, all of a sudden, she started hitting on the male coworker, telling him he should remove his shirt. Mind you, he's happily married and so is she. Oh. I guess he got uncomfortable and told us he was going to bed. Before anyone says I should have said something, maybe, but both of them are much older than me and this was my first job. I thought they were just flirting in some sort of weird way. Since I'm kind of awkward and didn't want her to think I wouldn't hang out alone with her, I stayed. Huge mistake. Up until then, her behavior towards me wasn't at all alarming. She started showing me pictures of her kids and family, but then she pulled up the Instagram page of some model. Not many followers, but obviously a very physically attractive guy. She told me that they were having an affair and she would soon be divorcing her husband to run away with this man. Her demeanor completely changed. She had those crazy eyes now. Now, without sounding too mean, let's just say she wasn't exactly physically attractive, so I thought, what the hell? But I didn't say anything, just sort of nodding because also, what the fuck? Anyways, she was trying to impress me or something, so no major alarm bells yet. But then she started showing me paparazzi-style pictures of him. Pics she'd clearly taken without his knowledge. Pics she'd clearly taken without his knowledge. Pictures of where he worked, his friends, his family, and more. Stalker shit. I felt sick to my stomach. You know that feeling when something's just wrong? Like you know you're in danger and you need to get out? She had this weird look in her eyes, and then out of nowhere, she took off her hijab and only had a few strands of hair, lots of bald spots, like something out of a horror movie. With that crazy look in her eyes, it was too much. I swear I wish I was making this up. Y'all, my stomach dropped, and every part of me was screaming to run, so I told her I was getting kind of tired and stood up to leave. She just said, okay, in this weird, flat tone. The next day, she acted completely normal. I'd later talked to the male coworker and asked him why he'd seemed so tense after being alone with her. He just said she made a move on him. Let's just say I won't be ignoring my gut feeling ever again. I feel like she's not actually having an affair with this man. She's just being weird and...
Yeah, she sounds just like a little crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder...
You go.
No, you go.
I wonder if she's being catfished.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that if she was being catfished, it wouldn't make sense.
And
why
then became a
she's, like,
stalker.
Yeah.
Like, who's that woman? She thought that... I think she's married to Tommy Lee, I'm going to say. But she thought that this other guy, he's also problematic. Hold on.
Okay.
Pause. Rodney Raddick.
Ronnie
Is
Radke or Raddick?
Radke?
That's Ronnie
Yeah,
Radke.
Ronnie Radke.
He's from Black Veil Brides.
Yes. Okay, and then Brittany is...
Oh, Brittany Ferland.
Yes.
Yes.
So someone was catfishing her using his stuff, but she's
Yes.
convinced that it's totally him.
Yeah. I
And
do
so
remember
now
seeing
she's,
something on that.
Like, low-key stalking him, allegedly. And so we put a restraining order against him. So I was like, I wonder if, like, this woman was being catfished. I'm just, like, speculating, obviously.
Yeah.
Being catfished.
And now
And he's
she's-
actually a person, and now she's stalking the real person.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I also was thinking maybe she might actually be Muslim, but I feel like as a Muslim woman, like, not to, like, remove your hijab in any
Right.
instance unless it's around the people that you're allowed to. I wonder if she wears that because she, like, picks at her hair and pulls it out, and maybe she's just, like, really self-conscious about it.
Yeah.
Possibility. Because I know that some people do that when they're, like, manic and they can pull out pieces of their hair.
Have you seen the show Sweet Pea?
No.
It has, I don't know how to say her last name, but I'm bad at last names. Jackie from Yellow Jackets is the main actress in it.
Oh, Purnell.
Yeah. And she's a bit woohoo crazy in that. And one of her tics is like
Pulling hair out.
yanking her hair out.
Yeah.
It's a good show. You should watch it. I think you'll enjoy it.
Noted.
Maybe. Let me know if you do.
Yeah.
I think you will. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll hate it, and you'll be like, "Jasmine."
I like Ella Purnell, so.
Yeah, and it's like a little bit creepy. Murder most foul.
It always cracks me up in shows when they pull hair out of people because you can tell that they're not actually, like, pulling their real hair out, which obviously they're not going to for a show. But I'm like, make it look a little bit more realistic. Come on, guys. Because they'll, like, go in and they'll be like, and it'll be like a fistful of hair. And I'm like, first of all, you're not doing that. No one is pulling out that much hair at once. Second of all, I can see the K-tips at the top of that. I can tell those bitches are extensions. You're lying to me and expecting me to believe that you're pulling out your real hair. I can see the band at the top.
I want a method actor. Like, fuck Jared Leto, obviously, but put him in
And let him pull all his hair
he
out.
has to yank all of his hair out.
Yeah.
Because as a method actor, that he should be bald by the end of it.
I always mix up Jared Leto and Scott Disick.
I think that's fair, especially as they've aged and they're both doing kind of like the beard thing.
Yeah.
And they're both problematic. Scott Disick is just funnier.
Yeah.
But they're both a problem.
Yeah. I literally, every single time I saw a picture of Jared Leto, I'm like, that's the guy that's with the Kardashian, right?
Yeah. No, I can see it. And they both kind of have the, like...
When you were talking about yesterday, like, plain white guys. That's what I think of.
Fucking blue-eyed stare at you.
Guys, I'm going to out Jasmine here. For anybody who's listening, Jasmine thinks that Rhett and Link are normal-looking guys that are, like, they're, like, statistically attractive, but not, like, actually.
I would say if you put them, like, in a genre, they fall into the same genre as, like, we talked about this, like, an Adam Scott or, like, Jason Bateman, which I do find them attractive. However, their attractiveness does not hinge on their physicality. It hinges more on their personality. But also, I do like if I'm dating a white man, I like a mid-looking brunette white man. Like, that is my type of a white guy. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously more handsome, just purely physically, more handsome guys out there. Personality-wise, probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. They're gonna be like, this bitch does Home Alone episodes. She calls us ugly. She fucking hates us. Her and her 200. And who the fuck is she with her 250?
I know we're trying to be on YouTube and we're doing all the YouTube taboos that you're not supposed to do. At least know that I love you guys.
I remember you guys from like years ago. I don't keep up with anything. So, yeah.
Anyway, going back to the story, I don't think I would ever go into a hotel room with my coworkers alone. I mean, you're different because you're like my friend.
Right.
But
yeah,
any of
it's
our
like-
other coworkers were like, let's go on a work trip and then let's go hang out in the hotel room and like drink together. I'd be like, let's go to a bar.
Yeah.
We go to a bar in a public place and drink together.
Yeah.
And then once we go back to the hotel, I'm going to go to my own room.
Right. I don't want people in my room.
Yeah, there's a boundary that needs to be set here.
Mhm.
And that's not, it's like
Yeah.
the episode of The Office with whenever they go
Yeah.
to Florida
Mm-hmm.
and what's her name? Kathy like keeps trying to come into Jim's room and
Yeah.
hang
And
out.
he's like, no. And
Yeah.
she's just like, I'm going to get under these covers.
Yeah,
And
and she's like in a
"Please
row.
stop."
Yeah. And then Dwight comes in and he's like,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah. No, I have some friends that work in a more corporate environment, and they say on retreats and things like this, the cheating is rampant. Like my friend, she was like sitting there and watching. It was like two people that she knew were married. She has met their spouses, and they like took off their rings and went together. Some people just leave their rings on because they're like,
You already know.
yeah. I was like,
Wild.
you have as much to lose as I do, so I'm like, this is insane. And she gets shit for not being a philanderer because she's like,
Sorry, I don't want to do that. Yeah.
No.
Sorry, that goes against my morals as a human being.
right.
Like,
she's like, even if like I'm not in a relationship, you're married. I don't want to. I'm thinking about your life.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
no.
Do you have a permission slip?
Yeah, show me the permission slip. Show
I
me
need a
video of
FaceTime
her
call.
signing it.
Yeah. I need a FaceTime call from your wife, and I need to go over all of this, and even still, I'm not doing it.
So that seems like too much. I'm actually just gonna go hit on someone else.
Exactly. I'm gonna go hit on a man at the bar who's not married.
Yeah.
Everything about that, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. Men are skinny. But
All right. Last story.
last story.
Okay.
Story 4. Florida woman crawled out of my hotel mirror to rob me.
Of course, it's Florida. What
Yep.
the fuck?
2 Florida stories
What the
today.
fuck?
When you talk about things that are wrong with people, it always goes back to Florida.
Something in the water.
Honestly, that would make sense. This past Monday, my coworkers and I returned to our hotel from a day of work out in the field. Rebecca and I walked to our rooms, and as we stood outside of our rooms, I opened mine and I saw someone in the bathroom. I said, "Hello?" Nobody answered. My first instinct was that it was either a cleaning lady in there for some reason, and then I saw my bag with my clothes in her hands. I said to the coworker, "There's a woman in my room." Then I asked the woman, "What are you doing with my stuff?" It gets a little fuzzy here because I can't remember everything I said and what she said, but she kept mumbling about how her key still worked and that's how she got in. I was in shock and she was obviously very flustered, having been caught mid-robbery. She dropped my bag and fumbled around with her purse in a white plastic bag. By this time, my coworker was still behind me, watching all the insanity unfold. This woman was scrambling and walking towards the door, and I said, "What's in the bag?" Thinking it's probably my stuff, and so she said, No, it's just my things, I'll show you, and so she did. I looked, and I didn't see anything of mine, and so since I'm obviously in shock at this time, I let her leave. I went into my room, and it's been ransacked. I did a quick look around to see if anything had been taken. All of my electronics were still there. Then I went into the bathroom and saw my underwear, my bikini, and my clothes shoved in my own bags randomly. Even my passport was shoved in there. Then I looked on the counter and I saw that she had gotten into my medication. I'm not sure what was going through my head at that moment other than I wanted it back, so I ran out the door to go find her. I ran to the laundry room downstairs and out to the sides of the hotel and I didn't see her. I realized I was never going to find her, so my coworker and I went down to the lobby to tell them what happened and we called the police. We went back up to my room to wait and I noticed that there was a small metal bat on my bed, a little larger than one of those novelty wooden bats you can get at a baseball game, but there's also a flashlight on the end. She must have left it behind in a hurry. She also left behind a necklace that must have fallen out of her bag when she was scrambling with mine. I was mostly freaked out at this point. I thought that she had gotten away with my medication that I need. The police got there and I took our statements and looked around the room as well. One thing I noticed was that there were bits of drywall in the sink, and I pointed out to the cops, but none of us really knew where it came from. We started looking at the door and the windows to see if she pried her way in somehow, but there was nothing. So we kind of just went with the idea that she had a spare key or something, even though the hotel front desk was adamant that there's no way that that could be. The officer that came brought 2 more officers as backup because they thought that the woman might still be in the vicinity. But after our statements were taken, there was nothing else they could really do, so they left. I sat down to finally make some calls to tell people, and as I'm on the phone, I'm thinking about the drywall in the sink, and it still didn't make sense to me. So I'm on the phone and looking at the drywall and the mirror on the right wall above it, and then it hit me. I got my coworker and asked her to help me pull at this mirror on the wall. We took the mirror down, and there's a hole just big enough for a desperate junkie to squeeze through. I asked Brian and Rebecca if I should call the cops again to let them know I found this, and my boss said, there's still 2 cop cars in the parking lot. So I went down to tell them, and the female cop kind of rolled her eyes, but the young guy said, I'll check it out. They both came back up, looked in the hole, and found a pillow, blankets, cigarettes, clothes, toothbrushes. This woman had been living in the wall behind my mirror for God knows how long. She had access to me and my room at all times. I know it might be hard to picture. There was a crawl space about 2 feet wide between the 2 rows of rooms. One of the officers called the original officer to come back and take pictures of this. She explained to him what's going on, and all I hear over the radio is, no fucking way. He comes back, takes pictures, and is just as mind blown as the rest of us. Obviously, we packed up and left immediately. What's even crazier is she probably had been there a long time. The last time we stayed at the hotel, I would randomly smell cigarette smoke, and I assumed someone was smoking in their bathroom, and it was traveling through the vents. Nope. A junkie was smoking just on the other side of my mirror. She had access to other rooms too. The holes in the walls were from a renovation and the hotel hadn't properly patched and just covered it up with mirrors. She could have been hanging out in other people's room when they were gone. Anyway, this was insane and I'm taking a little time off. There's also a picture of the hole. Hold on.
I looked at the picture and I don't like it. Oh my God.
I have not looked at it.
Do you want to see it?
I'm pretty...
You definitely did.
Oh, that's horrifying.
I hate that.
Oh, that's horrifying. Oh.
It is a little hole.
It is a little hole, but you can
Ugh.
definitely crawl through that if you're like small enough. That's
Me thinking about how my mirrors are in my bathroom.
that's freaky.
I hate this for you.
Also,
why did the hotel not be like, oh, let's put you in a different room
yeah, right.
after you just got robbed?
That's
Let's put
exactly
you in
what
a
I was
different room.
thinking. I'm like, why would you want to stay in that room?
No.
Yeah.
Like, put me somewhere else so they don't know where I'm at.
She obviously has a spare key.
Right. She can just go in.
Yeah, and which obviously she didn't. But like in that instance, that's what I would have been thinking.
Right.
I also fuck cops. I like the female cop being like,
Ugh, I
Girl.
guess I'll come check out this hole in the wall. This is
Women-
your job.
women need to stick together. Also, it's literally your fucking job, bitch. Like
Right.
you are getting paid to do that.
Right. If you don't want to do that, go do literally anything else.
Yeah, protect and serve my fucking dick. Jesus Christ. Like,
Like, oh, I guess I'll come check this out and
Yeah.
like, solve the crime.
crazy. That's literally what police are for. Isn't that crazy? You actually have to like do a job that's not killing minorities.
And she's like, what do you think I am, a detective? I'm not here to solve a crime. I'm
Yeah.
here to put up tape and cause problems.
Incarcerate people for marijuana for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would never stay at that hotel again. I wonder
I
if
would never want to stay in a hotel again.
yeah, I wonder if OP like always stays in that exact room or
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
Because there's some annual events that I do with friends where logistically it is nice to get a specific room because
Yeah.
they have events outside of it so we can stand on the balcony and watch.
Yeah.
So every single year they get the same room. So I wonder if it's that type of thing where it's like, oh yeah, we always stay here. I always get this room.
Yeah.
Tis tradition.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I have been thinking about for like specifically my bachelorette party, the Airbnb that we have. I'm like, it's catered to women, obviously.
Yeah.
It's catered to women and it feels catered to bachelorettes and birthdays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I have thought about, I'm like, when we get there, we do need to do a kind of
We
little
need to do a
comb
sweep,
through.
yeah.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that. I'm like, the owner of this Airbnb knows that it's women staying here, so
Yeah, they're either going to try to look at our boobies or make sure we're not doing anything we're not supposed to be doing. And then they're like, oh, extra charge. I know you were, like, because like, obviously this one's probably fine because it's catered to bachelorette parties, but some are like, no parties over this amount of people.
Yeah,
And they're like, you had this many people. It's like, how do you know that?
yeah,
You little creep. How do you know that?
yeah,
So, yeah, we'll probably just be trying to look at all of our boobies.
yeah, yeah. That's so terrifying. I'm gonna start like knocking on my windows at hotels and stuff now. I already do the whole thing where I like go around and I look in all the little like cracks and crevices and stuff to
do
make
a
sure there are
full
no
sweep.
cameras, and I do the like 2-way mirror tests and
Yeah, I did that. Especially, I went to pick up my niece in Kentucky, and I stayed at a hotel right by the airport. And I was like, I need to make sure to do a full sweep because at this point, it's not just me that would be taken; it's a 4-year-old that would be taken. So I need to be like vigilant on top of it. Like we are going straight to our room, we are locking everything down, we're putting stuff in front of the door just in case.
yeah.
Yeah, I think if I become a mother, I'm going to be a paranoid mess.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I'm
couldn't
going to be
even
a helicopter
imagine.
mom.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm a helicopter mom with my pets.
Yeah.
Like, let alone an actual living, breathing human being. No way. No way.
yeah.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I wouldn't even the calmness to just like walk in the door and be like, hey, that's my stuff. What are you doing to my stuff? And just to
Right.
let them leave.
Right, just let him, like, I guess, like, in this scenario, that's a de-escalation tactic of just like,
Yeah.
you know what, like, I don't see anything of mine. You can go, like, no harm, no foul. Please don't, like, bite me or some shit because
Yeah.
this is Florida.
They're trying to eat me.
Right. But also at the same time, just, it is, like, wild to just be like, okay,
Yeah.
bye.
I
See you
can't-
never.
Yeah. I can't imagine what I would do in this scenario, so I can't really like talk on it because you never know how you're gonna react in a fight or flight like this.
I think it depends on what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I am feeling fighty, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck you.
Swinging.
Fuck you. This is like not the craziest story at all. But since I've been living in a city, I've become a little more vocal and outgoing when people, like, if they yell at me in the streets. And I was trying to park at the grocery store, and I was, like, circling the parking lot because it's the smallest parking lot in the world. It's rivaling a Trader Joe's. And I see a parking spot. I go in it, and this guy, like, comes out. He's like, I was waiting for that spot. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I'm going to go. That's what I thought.
You gotta fight crazy
My spot.
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Sometimes I genuinely can't decide what's more scary, paranormal or actual people.
I think real people are scarier because they can do real harm, but you know, there are a lot of good people out there, like all of our listeners. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. You can find us anywhere that you stream your podcast. If you want to go to Spotify, that would be really cool. Anywhere else is cool too. We love all of our listeners. You can find all of our social media at whatwasthat_thepod. And if you would like to email us your own story to read, you can email us at whatwasthat.thepod@gmail.com.
I just wish everyone was like our listeners.
We all have some quirks wrong with us, but that's what... Wait, what was that?
A flamenco dancer.